one loss doesn't define our season. We keep going, treat every game like a playoff game. That's really what it is.
Got to treat every game like a playoff game, because with one more loss, the hopes to get back to the college football playoff for the Dogs a couple years removed would go away completely. That said, according to FPI and a number of people who are well acquainted with the numbers here, Kirby Smart's team certainly controls its own destiny to get back into the college football playoff, especially with a game remaining against Mizzou, the team leading the SEC East.
I think that's right when you think about what's ahead of them. There's no margin for error, but the real question becomes, can they get back to playing Georgia's style of offense? And that is a big physical offensive line with some of the best running backs in college football. Last week they went away from their identity. They threw it 51 times. You just don't see that with Georgia.
Maybe the rain guides them there. This is a weather pattern with a work ethic. It is going to be persistent tonight in Athens as the Dogs and Wildcats get together in a drenching rain. Grant McKinnis tees it up. James Cook is back to receive. Off we go. On a couple of hops, bobbled by Cook. His leg falls on it, and he dives on the ball. So play number one, we have a mishandle and post-play stuff going on.
It's exactly what Quinn talked about in the open. Handling the ball could be difficulty, and there's that man Fromm who actually dropped a snap last week against South Carolina.
He evidently sings under his breath all the time, around the facility, everywhere, low places. He says his karaoke song. But a guy that needs to get back on track on the field as well after a multi-interception game last week. DeAndre Swift on the first play has a Georgia first down into the secondary off a gain of 14. The pedigree of running backs here at Georgia is vast. Third and 3 for Fromm. He throws for the first time today, and this is going to be short of the marker for George Pickens, who came back for the ball, gave ground, and it's fourth down.
Well, it gets back to the issue of young receivers. There's another freshman in Pickens, and did you run your route deep enough? Did you cut it off? That was an issue last week, and he was a little bit short of the marker there, it looks.
You guys like the punt here? They're booing.
It's the first series of the game. You're in your own territory. The weather is bad. Anything could go wrong. Yeah, you kick the ball away now. That's a right call.
But you're Georgia. You're running back. You get a yard, right?
Yeah, well, you didn't get it on second down.
That's
short
true.
On third down.
Very true. Ali back to receive Camarda's punt. And that is a blast by Camarda that ends up through the end zone. So for Kentucky, the question has been, who is the quarterback going to be? They turned to Lynn Bowden Jr. with an injury to Sawyer Smith to play quarterback last week. The wide receiver turned quarterback, and the former high school quarterback is going to lead him out again today. A young man who has a family of his own. They call his son Lynn Bowden III, Little Lynn, and there he is.
How adorable.
Yeah.
He's so cute.
We spent some time with Lynn Bowden Jr. this week, and his story is one that you want to stick around for throughout the game, because he is a wonderful young man who's dealt with so much during his life, and he credits his son actually for helping him focus himself as he takes the first snap, and A.J. Rose dives forward to set up second down. But Bowden's going to be everywhere on the field today, whether it's quarterback or wide receiver.
Well, just to make the move mid-season from receiver to quarterback when he hasn't been a quarterback since high school, and to be asked to take charge of a team that wants to be in a bowl game this year, won 10 games last year, it's a lot of pressure and a lot of team unity for him to make that sacrifice.
Some folks in Lexington said he saved their season last week, breaking a 3-game losing streak. They use the mesh there, and Josh Ali gets submarined for a first down at the 30. It was interesting talking to Kirby Smart and Dan Lanning this week, because they said, look, we've never seen two polar opposite quarterbacks like Sawyer Smith and like Lynn Bowden Jr. They had to plan for two distinct options at quarterback.
I don't know of many teams that have had a quarterback problem the way Kentucky has had this season with all of the injuries.
This is Bowden. the dynamic, do-everything guy for Kentucky, and he hops through to the 35.
You see that? That's what we're talking about. I mean, you're talking about a guy who, even on a wet surface, can stop on the dime, can change direction, can accelerate with one step. You know, that's why he is so talented and destined to be a guy who plays a lot more football when he's done at Kentucky.
Kentucky hasn't scored on an opening drive, whether it's with Bowden at quarterback, whether it's Walker Wood, Terry Wilson, Sawyer Smith, anybody. Hasn't happened. Facing a wall of sound on 3rd and 4. Bowden wrapped up and dropped. Tay Crowder sized him up, and it's 4th down. Stationary here on a 3rd and 4 cue. Showing blitz. Clock ticking on quarter number 1. And this will go for a first down for Pickens, but he tried to give it back again. First down, Georgia. First third down conversion of the first quarter ends the first quarter. The rain between the hedges has been persistent. Under siege, drops it off, shoestring grab, and Swift would have been better off letting it hit the ground. DeAndre Square for a loss of 7 with the stop, the freshman All-American in the SEC last year.
Yeah, but the play was made up front with the pressure right away on Fromm. Really good effort getting inside there by Carter, putting pressure on him, and he just did everything he could, Fromm did, to get rid of the ball. But you're right, Swift should have let that go. But how about this Kentucky defense? They are now threatening. Here's this press coverage we're talking about down here. Matched up there.
That's Eccles against Pickens. And they'll go the other way off the screen. And it's blown up one more time.
Yeah, they're rallying, and the fans are not happy. They are not happy. They've seen their Georgia team ranked number 3 fall to number 10. And they've seen the passing attack stifled last week by South Carolina. And so far tonight, nothing going. Fromm is 7 for 8 with 7 yards. 7 yards.
Yeah.
They're serving the same menu every week. It's the same predictability. Run on first down, second down screen, draw.
Yeah, I'm with you, Q.
Similar formations.
Yeah, they've got to throw the ball on early downs a little bit because Kentucky is playing and loading the box for the run on first down.
Georgia is a very good draw team. This 3rd and long, they'll throw. Fromm has loads of time, and it's batted away. Eccles with those long arms stabbing it in front of Pickens.
Yeah, you said it. Great coverage by Eccles. He had plenty of time to come in and make the play. That's a long, long throw. He's in great position. All the time that Fromm has, that's all the time Eccles has to see through the receiver to the ball. See that? Perfect timing, perfect play.
Through 18 minutes as Kentucky gets it back in a very low-scoring and low-yardage environment. Bowden drilled a loss of half a yard, 7 possessions, 7 punts, 380 punt yards, 84 total yards in our game so far.
Yeah, there you go. Well, we can blame a little bit of this on the weather, not all of it. You can blame a lot of it on play selection. You get it with Kentucky. And they've gone with a running quarterback, and they'll be content to have this game 0-0 for as long as possible.
Oh, yeah. That's how Oregon State did it back in the 60s in the rain against Southern Cal. Use the weather to your advantage, keep the score muted, and it looked like 15 Georgia Bulldogs were there. LeCount led the charge, and it's 3rd down. It's a wide receiver turned quarterback, Lynn Bowden Jr., who played quarterback for the Boca High School in Youngstown, Ohio, against Georgia here. 3rd down, long ball down the sideline, and caught. No, it's sprung free at the last moment. Stokes ripped it away from Wagner.
Tremendous play by Stokes, but a tremendous throw by Bowden to give Wagner a chance. Give him a chance to make a play. And the ball came out at the end. But how about Stokes hanging in there? Now, little hand fighting, no one's going to call that. But he fought through the end to get the ball out. It's okay to be beaten, as the defensive back can't stay beaten, though.
Well done by Stokes. Would have been a 37-yard gain, and Kentucky flips the field in a massive way inside the 20.
See the guys that they have in the box. A lot of guys around the line of scrimmage, 7 of them.
It's a pass from Fromm, and he's on target for Pickens. Across the 40-yard line in the arms of Cash Daniel. First down, Georgia. First explosive play.
Yeah, exactly what the fans were calling for. A little play action on first down. You've been running the ball on first down forever. Now, get those linebackers inside. You see Cash Daniels was inside, now chasing Pickens. Nice job by Georgia, switching it up, changing their play calling. Right up there.
Fromm has to tuck it and run. Fromm is very close to the line to gain. Very close. Remember, the yellow line is not decisive.
Very heads-up play by Fromm, sensing the opening, knowing exactly where the first down marker is.
And it is a first down. How about Kinley there driving downfield with his block? They're happy to have him back at the left guard spot. They've run the ball substantially better when he's been in the lineup.
Look, if you feel like you've got the best offensive line in college football and some of the best running backs, you don't need to sneak it here. You turn around and you give it. Oh, they are going under center. This is something that we didn't think they would do.
They sneak. Fromm is only at the 50, it looks like. Both officials coming in are at the 50-yard line. This is going to be a turnover on downs if that spot holds.
Yeah, I don't get the sneak here when you've got this weather and you've avoided taking the snap from center.
It didn't look like a fully clean exchange either.
That's exactly why you don't do it, Q. And they knew that. They were perfectly aware of this problem.
Oh, that's way short.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not even a measurement.
Yeah.
Kentucky holds.
Yeah. That's surprising, Q, that they would go to that when it was a big concern. We were at practice on Thursday, and they were doing a wet ball drill, and they had loads of problems with the center quarterback exchange, and so they would probably stick with shotgun to avoid that problem.
They mentioned it again yesterday in our meetings, and if that's the case, they probably should have just gone Wildcat, a direct snap to a running back.
Yep, you're right. Yeah, Fromm did not get that cleanly. I bet Q the next time around, they don't take a snap under center for a short yardage situation.
That means Georgia's 1 for 5 on 4th down this year. And it is a restless crowd here. You can feel it in Athens.
You're coming off an upset loss. You kind of figured that was a one-off and your team would be angry coming out. But look at this. You're 0-0 and Kentucky hasn't even picked up any yards passing.
For the first time in 7 years that's happened. And a half. Bowden tucks it. Bowden with a stop. He looks upfield now. Bowden is crashed down. He'll be sacked in his own territory.
Yeah, for Bowden, it is one look for your receiver and take off.
Basically a lead play there. And Bowden, you look at the type of guy. Kirby Smart compared him to Hines Ward, but there are some other comparisons as well. 20 rushes, 10-plus passes, and a punt return in the same game since 2000. Look at this company.
Well, that tells me he's going to play a lot of football.
And Bowden is out from quarterback. Rodriguez took the snap. It's a flip back, and the throw from Ali is incomplete. Keaton Upshaw the target, so it went from Rodriguez, through him, ending up at Ali, and Upshaw couldn't grab it. Oda handling Rutgers easily, staying unbeaten for P.J. Fleck. Could use a boat to row in the water here. This is DeAndre Swift past the 30, and finally driven down at the 34. First down, Georgia.
And maybe that's what the good reason.
Out of the pistol, Fromm has to cradle the ball on the ground, and after a big gain, it's a major loss.
Yeah. You see, if I'm Georgia's coaching staff, I feel like the Kentucky offense isn't a big threat. They can't hurt me. The rain can hurt me because my guy can't handle a snap like that. Just a little high. That ball's got to be closer inside because of the weather.
Kirby Smart said to us at the beginning of our meeting when we asked about the weather, he said big hands helps for a quarterback, and Jake Fromm isn't necessarily in that category.
Well, hand size wasn't going to help you on that one.
No.
that one's off and to the side and a little high.
Swift finds a crease. DeAndre Swift just short of midfield. A Georgia first down. He is gashing Kentucky. This one for 23.
Just need that FedEx Kinko sponsorship.
Angling for it. Fromm to throw after the holding penalty. Fromm under siege. Now he tucks it. And Fromm is tackled at the waist by Corker. Nice open field tackle.
Yeah, and you see all the time that Fromm has. That's part of the rain. It's hard for those defensive guys to get in him. But we talked about Corker sneaking into the box. There he is. Now he recognizes it's a pass. He is just all over the field. He makes a great open field tackle. He's got 8 tackles already in this game.
You know this means a little more to him. He is from McDonough, Georgia, about 90 minutes away.
I would expect that he would not sneak in the box with this 3rd and long here, but would get involved in pass coverage.
See how many they bring. It's 4. Fromm climbs the pocket again. Fromm goes down in the arms of Jamar Watson.
Back-to-back passing plays where there's zero separation for Georgia wide receivers downfield.
Yeah. Now does Kentucky just take a knee and take the ball coming out of halftime?
Yeah, there's no reason to really risk anything. Now, if you want to run it, fine, but they're not going to drop back and try and toss it down the field. A lot of bad things could happen for them right now. They're not an accomplished passing team right now. They're a surprise passing team.
Yeah, that's right. One play and head off to the locker room. You've shortened this to a 30-minute game.
Exactly.
Why even one play? Why not a knee? And there it is. Not my first rodeo either, Kesnick. 8 first downs and 10 punts and no points, nothing. To the studio, our halftime report where it's sunny and not rainy. Matt Berry, Joe Galloway, Jesse Palmer, they got it for you. The lights have gone out on the scoring. In the first half, nothing. Kentucky and Georgia. Georgia still in play for the college football playoff. So the question is, Rod Gilmore, how do you get this pass game on track if you're the Bulldogs?
Part of the problem. It's not the sole problem. The receivers for Georgia are struggling to get open. Now, whether they're facing press coverage or off coverage, they're still not having a good time getting them. See, you see combination coverage there, a little hands on the receivers. Even when they're in bail and they're coming down the field, they still are having a tough time. Really physical Kentucky secondary having its way right now with the Georgia receivers. So I expect Georgia to come out and throw on early downs to try to take advantage of the one-on-one coverage, because right now running on first and second down has been a challenge, unless DeAndre Swift breaks a couple for you like he's done so far for 81 yards in the first half.
A couple of gash plays for him is basically all the Georgia offense so far. Kentucky will see it first here in the second half. And the Wildcats with Rodriguez will have field position at the 34. Quinn Kesnick downstairs.
And what do you do if you're Kentucky here? You've got 0 passing yards deep in your own territory. Do you take a chance and throw it, or do you let your main man, Bowden, scramble and run again?
Pressure coming. He spins away from Herring. Flag comes in. Bowden seeking that line to gain. He got there, but it's likely coming back with the flag as the walls were caving in on him.
Herring for Kentucky. Tackled close to the first down marker, but check the flag.
Holding, 67, offense. Take a penalty.
Third down.
Screen game maybe, 3rd and 15, we'll see. Rodriguez stays in to block. It's a deep ball down the sideline. Wagner doesn't have a chance at it. Again, pinned to the sideline on the coverage, Stokes.
Well, they'll keep taking those shots every now and then with Wagner, who's 6'5" and a former basketball player. They want to give him a chance to out-jump one of those corners and make a big play.
Or draw a PI call, which he's gifted at.
He got 11 of them this year. They call him Ahmad Flagner in the Kentucky circles. This is not the best punt from Duffy, and it comes at a bad time. Georgia is going to have outstanding field position and will run a play from Kentucky territory for the first time as Kirby Smart says, let's go, and we'll see if they do when we come back. And the first installment of Georgia offense in Kentucky territory, the pilot edition, tonight. First time Georgia's run a play in Kentucky real estate comes at 6:31 in the third.
Via a poor punt.
15-yarder from Duffy. Swift totes it and attacks inside the 25. Swift is in. Touchdown.
We talked about Swift in the first half, getting to the edge. Similar deal, but what balance he had breaking through that tackle. Wow.
6th time, over 100 total yards in a game for Swift. He has the longest play of the game at 39, and Georgia uncorks a touchdown off of the miss by Duffy. An all-league punter goes for 15 yards, and this is turned out by Swift on the first play.
Yeah, go back to this play. Just watch what a great big hole he gets, because great blocking by Mays there, right there, and also 79 Wilson washing everything outside, and then just acceleration, and how about the hit and spin from DeAndre Swift. But that job up front by the right side of that line, washing everything out, and a good cutoff block by Trey Hill, the center. Great job.
Crowd is riled up right now. 2 to snap it for Bowden. They'll run the option, and Bowden takes a shoulder from Tay Crowder, and it's 3rd down. Tay Crowder, the UGA fan growing up, former basketball player in Pine Mountain, Georgia, a major part of this defense.
He had a scoop and score a few weeks ago against Notre Dame. Showed some great speed, going 60 yards with that.
That 102 for Kentucky is against a defense that is the only one in the country not to allow a rushing touchdown so far this year. 3rd and 4, a lot of movement.
Yeah, you got the wind at your back if you're Kentucky, but they don't have much of a passing attack right now. Makes you wonder if they'll start to consider Sawyer Smith as an option to throw the ball for them.
He's the reserve quarterback, the typical pocket passer, the transfer. 3rd and 4, a run. And Bowden lost the football. Georgia's got it. It's a turnover for LeCount. Turnover number 1.
Now, the question is whether Bowden was down, because that ball came out as he hit the ground.
The ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. First down.
Watch the contact.
Oh, that's out.
That ball is out. It was the hit by Reed that knocked the ball out. Big hit. That ball comes down before Bowden's knee touches the ground.
He gets the spikes and he lets it eat.
Everybody's got a gimmick now, right? A turnover chain, a turnover
squad,
spike, turnover pad, whatever you call it. Wow.
Maybe sponsored by Aaron Boone with the word Savage on the back there.
That's not real gold, right?
I don't think they'd let that out of the ring. It would be a rust component. Bowden's on the phone. Georgia's on the march.
It's got to be Swift again, right?
He just hit for 39 and a touchdown. Here, he navigates his way to the second level again, and the third level, and a first down for Swift.
Cross point at the 20. Swift picks up 11 yards.
He's a battering ram.
Last week,
Arian again, hunting that first down. He's got it, turning his back. First and goal, Georgia.
yeah. So you get a short punt, which is like a turnover, and then you get a turnover, and all of a sudden, Georgia's offensive line smells it, and they start to take over a little bit. Kentucky had been holding them off for a while, but these guys are so big up front, so strong.
Biggest offensive line in the country for the Georgia Bulldogs.
You got a couple guys 330 pounds.
Yeah, this is NFL stuff you saw last week. The comparison to the average NFL lineman. To the corner. Touchdown, Harriet.
What a nice move by Harry, and Jamari Brown in the secondary there had the leverage, had the edge, but a little dip inside got Brown to go inside, and Herron was able to get outside in pure speed. But Brown had the leverage, but gave it up.
Arian missed the game with a back strain last week against South Carolina. And how about the last 45 minutes for Georgia? If you're a Bulldog fan, you turn on the game, you say, what are we doing? It's no score at halftime. Then Mizzou loses. Bad punt, touchdown.
Yep.
Touchdown. You're up 14-0.
Yeah.
You're exactly where you want to be, and you got Florida in a couple of weeks.
You could say Kirby Smart played the long game.
Yep.
You know, just slowly hanging in there, not forcing, not pushing anything, and then you get basically 2 turnovers. You get 2 turnovers with a short field, 2 touchdowns in the last 4 minutes and 26 seconds.
How about J.R. Reed, an impressive young man? We spent some time with him. A transfer from Tulsa. And we were talking to him and Azeez Ojulari at the same time, the freshman linebacker, and we asked Azeez about the loss last week. And he had given us a thoughtful answer, and JR said, look, I've been around enough of these to know about the college football playoff loss and all that stuff that he just hasn't seen enough of them yet to know how to put it away as much as a veteran does. As this return for Johnson gets into open space for Kentucky inside the 40. So a swing back for the Wildcats off the kickoff.
It gives Kentucky a relatively short field now. Inside the 40, this is the best field position, starting field position they've had tonight. And this is a really good return. Once he finds the hole, look at him run right through a potential tackle. That's a really good job. No red shirts around him. Pursuit finally got him, but this sets up Kentucky with the chance to get back in, to get a score.
You know, we've talked about what Kentucky gains from Bowden at the quarterback position. He touched the ball all the time. You do, by virtue of him being there, lose your best receiver and your best punt returner
That's
as well.
exactly right. Yep.
Off the 58-yard return from Johnson, Kentucky with Bowden. Looking for a crease, and he gets stood up, blocking sled style.
Back to your point about J.R. Reed and talking with him. This was a tough week for the Georgia players. They had friends, classmates, family members all, trying to talk about the playoff. Oh, we're in bad shape or whatever. And he said, look, I'm veteran enough to say 1 week at a time. We got to focus on Kentucky. It's a little harder for some of the younger players to do that. But you're telling family members, I'm not talking about that. they don't want to hear that.
No, they're going to talk to you, and they're going to tell you what they saw last week. Bowden cuts it upfield. That step through again. And Wagner engages a little bit with a face mask coming against DJ Daniel. It's a gain of 21 and then some with a marker in.
Personal foul. Grasping the face mask. Number 14 defense. Penalty enforced at the end of the run, half the distance to the goal line. Automatic first down.
We talk about a spy or one-on-one. J.R. Reed has a shot at Bowden one-on-one. He gives him a great move and gets by him. And he's not an easy guy to tackle in the end zone. You saw the face mask at the end of that.
His vision and his cutting ability from field level, I mean, it is just gorgeous to watch.
Antoine Randall L., huh? Reminds you of that a bit, Q?
Yeah, he's got kind of that crossover dribble-like move, plant and cut.
A little Allen Iverson going on there.
Look at you with the basketball knowledge.
Look, I've watched a basketball game or two. First and goal, Kentucky. Georgia still has not allowed a rushing touchdown this year. Rodriguez won't get it.
Yeah, and it's tough to get it inside there with Devontae Wyatt, 6'3", 301 pounds there, and Barnett, number 94, 304. You're not really moving those two guys out of the middle too often.
Calling a gain of 1.
Your best bet is to get to the edge.
You got Wagner here near side with his 6'5" height.
Good matchup, Q.
End of the quarter. Bowden to run. Bowden to throw. Kicked around, incomplete. Rodriguez had it clang off his leg and his hands. And we will open the third quarter with Kentucky out of the end zone.
That is the end of the third
But challenging. This looks like Nebraska Mizzou from back in the day. Matt Davison.
This is all to him, and he beats it all up. Kentucky fans are going, what are we doing? There's your big guy down there, 6'5" basketball player. This is 2-down territory. Field goal does you no good if you're a Kentucky fan.
Lynn Bowden Jr. to throw. He breaks out of the pocket, stalls, fires, incomplete. He wanted Wagner well beyond the goal line by a couple of yards. Now you going?
And you don't have any choice. A field goal doesn't do you any good. You're having trouble scoring. You can't count on getting back down here 3 times.
So what's your play call?
Well, for me, I still want Bowden to move with the ball. I still want him to look for Wagner, but be aware, backside away. He had a guy open last time. Be aware of that and be willing to stop and throw back. And again, you've got Wagner on the short side of the field over here. But he's going to have to contend with 1-2 defenders if you throw it that way.
Yeah, LeCount cheating that direction. Now he clears, but the pressure comes, forcing Bowden the other direction. And too high, incomplete, but a flag is in. There's a flag down. We'll check the marker.
Number 77
It's on
offense.
Kentucky.
Penalties decline. Ball's turned over on down.
So the Wildcats still have yet to complete a pass in this game.
Yeah, really good job by the Georgia defense. Really good job by Dan Lanning, the defensive coordinator. Had a spy go at the last minute to chase Bowden so that he didn't have all the room in the world to run around.
First and 10 for the Dogs.
Yeah, you have a guy delay and be prepared. Now watch what happens. You'll see 20 Reed, he's the spy. He cuts off the edge, and Bowden had no place to go with that.
You mentioned Dan Lanning, the defensive coordinator for Georgia. We chatted with him yesterday, a former third-grade PE teacher turned college football coach. He sent out a bunch of emails, made a bunch of phone calls, and now is a defensive coordinator in his very early time in his career as Swift breaks a tackle from Dort and ends up a yard shy of the first down.
Well, this is what you expect of your superstars. Take over and control the game, and Swift has done that.
Flag is down.
After the play was over, personal foul and necessary roughness. Number 95, defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Bohannon, you talk about Lanning. So how badly do you want to be a college football coach?
Yeah.
You're a high school coach, and you're not getting any responses to the emails and resumes you talk about. And he got in his car and drove from Kansas City to Pittsburgh
That's a long trip.
to try to get FaceTime.
And he did. Got some attention. Ended up an assistant coach, then moved to Alabama, became a graduate assistant. Was living on a shoestring budget. He said a lot of ramen involved. As Swift on the run off the penalty. He's just got a different gear.
Yep, you said it, partner. I mean, that speed. He's got a guy out there for Kentucky with the leverage, ready to tackle them, to force him inside. And he just runs right around Eccles.
Marion on the move to the 35. Matt Berry in the studio. What you got?
There's one area where he does have a little bit of an ego.
Singing on the run. Swift to the 29.
Make that 2 areas. Yes, he believes he can sing. J.R. Reed is not a fan of Fromm taking hip-hop songs and singing them like country songs. But, you know, where the ego comes in is here's a guy who repeatedly had to prove himself here. Had to prove he was a better quarterback than Jacob Eason. Had to prove he was a better quarterback than Justin Fields. Both of them ended up transferring, but you can understand why he'd look at it and he'd go, again? I haven't won you over yet. He's won him over now.
Substitution allowed. 4th down and 4. He's a local kid from Warner Robins. A couple of hours away from here in Athens. 4th down from. First pass of the second half. A connection inside the 25. First down for Pickett.
And the mock celebration from the crowd that they've seen the ball in the air. I like Pickens as a receiver, 6'3", 190-pound freshman. He will get better and better. They will need him when they get to November and they have those big games to try to win the East. And how about Fromm? Yeah, we got one there.
With the rain beating Sanford Stadium, Harrion steps through tackles, and you might be seeing the fatigue now for Kentucky. 1st and goal.
Yeah, they've been getting pounded for a while. Get a little double team again. Kinley 66, a little help from Hill 55. And then Harrion stays on his feet as Taylor tries to grab him.
Swift once more. Extends for the score. He's a ball of fire right now.
Yeah, lots of credit for Swift, but man, that left side of the offensive line darn near pushed Kentucky's D-line back into the end zone. And we talked about Thomas and what he did at the left tackle. Kinley 66. Look at his push. Look at, they're on skates. That defensive line, they're on skates right now.
So to this point, Kentucky has yet to complete a pass. So we have all these stats for you that might not be relevant if they do complete a pass. So we're just going to give them all to you so you know what will happen if they don't complete a pass. So last 20 years, no teams attempted 10 or more without a completion. That's Kentucky right now. And then here's another one for you. Georgia has held 5 teams to 0 pass yards in a game, including the Cal State Fullerton juggernaut back in 1992, which seems like a baseball game.
Only yesterday, right?
Yeah,
1992. Yeah. In other words, this is a rarity.
Big time.
Yes.
Will it last, though? He will after this play. Rose with a run, and he's got a first down to the 40.
Let me ask you this. Are you surprised we haven't seen Sawyer Smith, the number 2 quarterback who was injured, missed the last couple games, but was said to be healthy and available, ready to go today?
I'm not personally, because he was dinged up, had the fractured wrist, shoulder issue, and Georgia is an unforgiving defense. Quint, you surprised?
He's been throwing throughout this game. He's got his helmet on now with chin straps. Looks like he's kind of eager to get in the game, to get a feel for it. He played very well in their loss to Florida, I felt, and then he got hurt and then had two subpar efforts after that when he wasn't 100%.
Well, he told us this week he was good to go, that he went full speed with the first and second units, and he hadn't done that in weeks.
Offense has really struggled for the Wolverines. Don Brown's defense is carry the load for the most part, but they're trailing big. Bowden on the move, and there is a completion.
There it is.
First down, all those stats get wiped away, and we apologize.
The moment you put those stats up, you knew that was it.
Yeah, okay, the broadcaster, okay, we saw it Thursday night with McAfee and the UCLA punt team and Stanford, and I was getting tweets about that from White Sox fans saying it's real. Any baseball fan thinks it's real. It's just regression to the mean.
You just did it.
Come on, you're an intelligent guy. Don't put me in that fire.
I didn't have a hand in it.
Wrong with you. Rose inside the 40-yard line. I don't know how you've done TV for ESPN since what, 1996?
Forever.
You think I put the graphics up? Have you seen the truck that we have the show come out of?
You have such power.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Just asking for tweets to come my direction, Rod Gilmore. Thank you. Second down and 5 for Kentucky. Bowden unloads to the end zone, and that's too much. Into the hedges.
Intended for Daly in the end zone.
Third down and 12. Kirby Smart's team, again, you just want to win after losing to South Carolina. I know we're looking into the future of the college football playoff, et cetera, et cetera. But with the rain and everything, evaluating the pass game's tough, as we talked about. They just want to win.
It's understandable, but look, remember where this was. It took basically 2 turnovers and 2 short fields for Georgia to get on track.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was a wrestling match with no one getting the advantage.
Bowden the other direction. That's a jump ball, and it's batted away, nearly intercepted. That's DJ Daniel.
Look, and Kirby Smart is doing the right thing. He has the focus about winning this game, keeping his team healthy, and moving on to the next week. It's the rest of the world, the fans and everybody else, and odds makers and people who vote in the rankings to look at this and go, oh, well, you got a problem down the line. Kirby doesn't care about that right now.
But what have you seen that inspires confidence going forward? What improvement did you see if you're a Bulldog fan?
Well, as a fan, yeah, you're still worried about your offense, the passing game in particular.
4th and 12 for the game. Bowden down the sideline and incomplete for Wagner. With Kirby Smart, he said something that rarely does a coach say to us in meetings when we talk about millennials, and we'll tell you what that is when we come back. We were talking about Kirby Smart going to the break. The one thing he said to us that's rather surprising is he said, you can't tell kids to tune out social media.
Right.
It's too prevalent. Some coaches, a lot of coaches will say, just don't pay any attention to it. That's not possible. No. Kids are on it, so you have to use it, and you have to use stories to your advantage. Teams like Clemson and UNC, right?
Yep.
Upset possibilities. You use the noise to your advantage somehow.
Right. When he has them together in the locker room, he tells them about what's out there, what they will hear, what the narrative is, and whatnot, but to hang together. So, he's prepping them for it instead of telling them, hey, don't listen. You can't. I mean, everybody's going to be on it, or you're going to hear it from friends and family.
Who's going to hear some good things is DeAndre Swift.
Yeah.
21 for 179 and 2, and he really, on short fields, won the game for Georgia.
Well, he took control of the game, or I should say that offensive line did, and he had some spectacular runs behind them. And you need a superstar to step up. It was 0-0, and he made the plays in the third quarter that got Georgia going.
21-0 Georgia. Alabama coming next against Tennessee. The Tide trying to remain unbeaten as well. The Georgia defense pitches a shutout tonight after losing against South Carolina on a late field goal miss, illegal shift, the whole shebang. Georgia's back in the win column and goes to 6-1 tonight.
And you know what it is for Georgia? Survive and advance. They said they're in the playoff now, and they just needed to get a win, and they got it.
First home shutout in the SEC since 2010. Coming up next, Tennessee, Alabama. For Quentin Rod, I'm Jason. We thank you for watching as we go back to Matt Berry in our studio.